In a land where dreams were often silenced and jealousy whispered in the shadows of every home, there was a young man named Joseph, loved by his father, yet hated by his own brothers. His life was about to be thrown into a pit, both literally and figuratively. What would you do if the ones you trusted most were the very ones to betray your destiny? How far would you cling to your dream when the world around you seems determined to crush it? Joseph's story is not just a tale of betrayal and suffering. It is a journey of faith, of patience, and of a destiny so great that even the deepest pit could not contain it.
This is Biblica Tales, where ancient stories breathe again, not as distant history, but as living lessons for today. Tonight, we enter the life of a young dreamer, a boy whose destiny was written long before the world ever tried to break him. His name was Joseph. Betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit meant to bury his future, Joseph's journey teaches us one thing. When God writes your destiny, no human hand can erase it. But before we begin, do you know if you're not among this space, you might not see us again? So instead, hit the subscribe button to join and be among this wonderful journey. God bless you as you do so. Let's dive into the story.
Little did Joseph know, the path ahead would carry him from the darkness of the pit to the heights of a palace beyond imagination. Joseph was a boy unlike any other in the house of his father. His dreams were vivid, stretching beyond the walls of his home, beyond the fields of his family's land. Every night, he saw visions of greatness, of a future where the world seemed to bow in respect to the plans that God had hidden deep within his heart. And yet, the people around him could not understand. His brothers, who were supposed to protect him, were instead clouded with envy. Each word they spoke in whispers, each glance, each sigh carried the weight of resentment. What is it about greatness that makes those closest to us afraid? What is it about a dream that awakens jealousy even in the hearts of family? Joseph did not yet know, but he would soon learn that dreams are not only gifts, they are tests. They are fires that refine character, whether we are ready or not. He walked among his brothers in the fields, carrying the colorful coat his father had given him, a coat that was not only a symbol of love, but also a mark that set him apart. Every thread, every hue. Joseph's father had loved him, yes, but love is not always protection. Sometimes, love places you in the eye of the storm, so that what is meant for good may be revealed in the hardest places. And God said, "Do not be afraid of the pit, Joseph. Your trials are not the end. They are the shaping of your destiny. Trust me, and I will turn what they meant for harm into the very path to your purpose." Yet Joseph could not hear this voice as clearly as we hear it now. The whispers of envy were louder. The hatred of his brothers was sharp and cutting, and one day became action. They seized him, dragging him away from the land he had known, throwing him into a pit that smelled of earth and despair. Darkness surrounded him, but even in that darkness, there was a glimmer of hope, of God's unseen hand, and the promise that no pit could hold a man whose destiny was written in heaven. Have you ever been thrown into a place you did not choose? Have you ever wondered if the pain would ever end? If the waiting would ever stop? Joseph did not speak, but his heart did. It whispered prayers that would not yet have words. It whispered, "If this is the way, then show me, God. I will trust you." Days passed in the pit. Time seemed endless. Yet God's plan was moving silently, as it always does. The men who had meant to destroy him found another opportunity, selling Joseph into slavery to a caravan traveling to Egypt. And so Joseph's journey continued, not in freedom, but in chains. Yet even in chains, God's favor was upon him. Every trial, every hardship was part of a tapestry that only heaven could see in its fullness. Joseph entered the house of Potiphar, a man of power in a foreign land. He was a stranger, alone, and yet his hands were skilled and his heart faithful. God whispered again, "Serve with integrity, Joseph. Let your work speak louder than the noise of envy. Your favor will follow you even where men cannot see." And Joseph worked. He did not seek recognition, nor did he ask for reward. But God placed him in positions where his excellence became undeniable. Life, however, had more lessons to teach. Potiphar's wife noticed him, desired him, and in a moment of temptation, Joseph said no. He turned away from what was easy, what was immediate pleasure, and he chose what was right. And God said, "Character will weigh more than comfort, Joseph. Integrity will lift you higher than all the riches of this world." But his choice, though righteous, led to false accusation. He was thrown into prison, a place meant for the lost, the overlooked, the forgotten. Do you see how the path of destiny is often twisted? How the very choices that keep us faithful may seem to destroy us. Joseph sat in the prison, surrounded by walls, yet his mind was free, his heart listened, and God spoke. "Even here, Joseph, I am with you. Even here, the plan unfolds. Even here, your destiny is growing." In prison, Joseph's ability to understand dreams became known. He interpreted the visions of those around him with wisdom and clarity. And slowly, the chains of prison began to fade, not because the doors opened, but because the seeds of favor had been planted. Joseph's name, unknown to the world beyond, began to rise in quiet whispers of respect. Pharaoh himself would soon need Joseph's wisdom. Dreams that troubled the king, visions that none could understand, called for the one whom God had prepared. And God said, "Now, Joseph, the time comes. Walk forward in the path I have prepared. Your trials are now turning into triumphs." When Joseph stood before Pharaoh, it was not just knowledge that guided him, but the invisible hand of God that had been with him through every pit, every betrayal, every sleepless night, every injustice. He spoke with wisdom beyond his years. And the king, amazed, saw not only a servant, but a man of destiny. Years later, Joseph's brothers came before him, not knowing who he had become. And Joseph's heart wrestled with what he could do, revenge or forgiveness. And God whispered, "Forgive, Joseph. What they meant for evil, I will turn for good. Let mercy be the path to your palace." Joseph wept, and he said to them, "You meant to harm me, but God meant for good." He welcomed his family, restored them, and in that moment, the pit, the slavery, the prison, all of it became nothing more than a shadow of the palace he had been walking toward all along. The years in Egypt were not easy for Joseph, but God's hand never lifted from him. The famine swept across nations, yet Joseph's wisdom became the salvation of many. He stored grain, prepared provisions, and preserved lives, all because he obeyed even when he could not see the full picture. And it echoes what Jesus said in John 5, verse 30. "I can do nothing on my own. Obedience opens doors we do not yet understand." Let me remind you, sometimes God is preparing you in silence for a moment that will save many. When Joseph's brothers came seeking food, they did not recognize him. Their eyes met his. But the boy they had betrayed had become a ruler. Joseph remembered the pit, Potiphar's house, the prison, and the whispers of God that kept him alive. And he faced a choice: repay evil with evil or choose mercy. The Spirit of God echoed what Scripture later teaches in Romans 12, verse 21. "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And God said, "Forgive, Joseph. Mercy is the crown of kings." Joseph broke the silence. "Do not fear. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50, verse 20. His brothers wept, and Joseph realized that forgiveness does not erase the past. It transforms it. Time passed, and Joseph's influence spread. He was no longer the boy in the colorful coat, no longer a slave, no longer a prisoner. He was a ruler, yet still humble, remembering the pit, the chains, the tears, and the silent nights. And God whispered the truth found in Deuteronomy 8, verse 2. "Remember how the Lord your God led you, testing you to know what was in your heart." Joseph learned that patience builds strength, integrity protects destiny, and obedience unlocks doors no man can shut. Standing in the palace, Joseph looked back and understood. God had been with him in every step, guiding, shaping, testing, and preparing him for the exact place he was meant to be. Just as Proverbs 19, verse 21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Life lessons from Joseph, Scripture anchored. 1. Faith in the unseen. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 7. 2. Patience in suffering. Let endurance finish its work. James 1, verse 4. 3. Integrity in temptation. Joseph lived Proverbs 10, verse 9. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. 4. Forgiveness. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Colossians 3 verse 13. 5. Wisdom through trials. If any lacks wisdom, let him ask God. James 1 verse 5. 6. Humility and success. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. James 4 verse 6. 7. Obedience to God. Blessed are those who hear and obey. Luke 11 verse 28. 8. Vision and foresight. Joseph lived Proverbs 22 verse 3. The prudent see danger and take refuge. Before we end, ask yourself, what pit are you in today? Remember Psalm 40 verse 2. He lifted me out of the pit. Who betrayed you, and what is God teaching you through it? Joseph's pain became purpose. Are you still protecting a dream, even when life tries to crush it? Write the vision. Though it delays, wait for it. Habakkuk 2 verse 3. Are you ready to forgive so you can rise? Forgiveness is a doorway to destiny. Joseph's journey reminds us that no pit is permanent, no betrayal final, and no darkness too deep for God to reach into. Your palace may require patience, but it will come because God wastes nothing. If this story has touched you, if it reminded you that God can turn pits into palaces, if it spoke to your dreams, your pain, your waiting, then don't leave without sharing it. Let Joseph's story strengthen someone else today. Sparkles like comment and subscribe for more powerful biblical journeys. Your story is not over. Your palace is ahead. And the same God who guided Joseph is guiding you